culture. Rapping, we do it for the whole squad. We was down, but we came back. We lost it all, but we came right. They can never hold us. They can never hold us.
What's up, my Silverback Gorilla Gang family? How y'all doing, man? It's been a little minute. First and foremost, y'all already know how we do it over here, giving all thanks and all praises to the Most High, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, Yeshua, Father God, Yahweh, the King of all kings, rule of all nations. You know, yeah, I use profanity. Don't judge me. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to clean it up. You know what I mean? But like I say, I'm a lot better than the person I used to be. So, you know, I'm proud of that. Moving forward, today I'm going to give y'all a story time about my first night in Job Corps. So we pull up to Job Corps. When we first pull up to Job Corps, Earl C. Clemens, for whatever reason, the bus driver had to go to the gym. So it was dawn because the sun hasn't quite went down yet. So it's still some daylight. And we pull up to the gym. Bus driver, he takes us to our dorms. And as he's taking us to our dorms, he's telling us which dorms we're going to. So he dropped off some of my OT brothers at the 3s. And they got off, some at the 4s. We pull up to the 4s, they get off. Then he take us to the 9s. Now we were the last ones left because the 9s, it's like a little ways from the 3s. It ain't too far, but it's like a little spread out from where the 3s and the 4s is at. 3, 4s, and 5s. So he took us to the 9s, and as we pull up, he opened the door. He was like, all right, the rest of y'all gonna get out. But as we pull up, I'm looking. Now, when I tell y'all the 9s, Job Corps, Earl C, period, in my opinion, you know, looks like the projects. You know what I'm saying? You know, the short building projects. You know, and coming from Chicago and Alabama, you know what I'm saying? I've been across, you know, plenty of projects. You feel what I'm saying? And this looks like the fucking projects. You know what I mean? So I look out, everybody look out the window, and you see niggas out there smoking, pants sagging, no shirts on, dread heads, niggas throwing up gang signs. So as we look at this now, to me, this just look like an ordinary hood. And I'm pretty sure to a lot of the other cats. So me and my OT brothers, we get up, we grab our bags, we get off the bus. But as we getting off the bus, I'm noticing some people still sitting down. They not getting up. So the bus driver like, this is the last stop. Everybody got to get off. So then the cats who was still sitting down, they was like, nah, take us back to the airport. They was like, fuck that. They weren't even trying to experience it. You feel me? They was too scared to get off the bus. They said, nah, take us back to the airport. So for us who did get off, we went into 901, 902, 903. And as I walk into the dorm, outside looked the real ghetto. You know what I'm saying? It was weed smoke, you know what I'm saying? Just, you know how it is, ghetto. You know what I mean? But if you come from the hood, if you've been in the hood, if you know what a hood look like, you know what I'm talking about. Now, it did throw us off a little bit because you're thinking, you know, first of all, if I'm coming from the hood, I'm coming from a certain area, a certain type of environment, so I could get my education, so that I could better my life, better my future. You thinking that you're going to like a college environment, right? Like a school with, you know, kids who focus on trying to do the same thing that you're trying to do. But as I'm looking around, I'm like, this looks like the hood. A lot of guys here, you could tell, from the hood. And ain't nothing wrong with that from the standpoint of, okay, that's where we all come from. But at the same time, it was something wrong with that because if you came to Job Corps, you're supposed to be here doing something different than what you were doing at the crib. See, when you was at the crib, you was smoking weed. You was outside, pants all down around your damn knees, and you know what I'm saying? With that type of mentality. But you're supposed to come here to better yourself. So as I'm walking through, I'm thinking in my head, right? Because they had already informed us that, you know, if you get kicked out of this place, you will no longer be eligible for any uh, type of assistance for the rest of your life. So now, whether that was true or not, I don't know, but I wasn't trying to find out. You know what I'm saying? Well, like I say, growing up, where I come from, you know what it is when you come from the hood, you know, food stamps and things like that. Now, you don't depend on that, but you never know if you will ever hit hard times in your life. Grants, loans to go to college, to further your education, shit like that, you never know if you're going to need that. So I ain't want to fuck it up. And then having $1,600, I'm like, graduate when you get $1,600? Yeah, I want that. I need that. So I was like, you know what? I can't get kicked out of here. So I walk into the dorms. Now, when I walk inside, I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of surprised how nice inside looked. Because, you know, you walk inside a dorm, they have the lobby. So it's the lobby area, right? They had the big screen TV, plants, had nice couches, lazy boy chairs. So inside the dorm in the lobby area looked nice. But then when you walk into the lobby, you got 2 wings on this side and you got 2 wings on that side. You got A, B, C, and D. I was on D wing. So I walk, because I'm looking at the paper to see where my room at. So I see my room. So I walk on D wing. I walk and I'm looking on the wing, and you got guys on the wing wrestling. Look like they fighting for real, but they wrestling, tussling, you know, horse playing. You got guys sitting at the table playing dominoes, playing cards and shit. So I go into my room. As soon as I open the door, I see a guy sitting on his bed here, a guy sitting on his bed there, and there was like a little wall, and then there was 2 more beds. But these 2 guys that's sitting here, when I walked in, I could tell they weren't from America. They weren't American. They were Haitian. So I walk in, I'm like, hey, what up? They're like, what up? Boom. I walk past, I see the 3rd guy sitting on his bed. But he looked more like timid, like shy. So as I walk up, I'm like, yo, what up? What up? He like, hey, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, this dude look kind of weird and shit, but I'm like, whatever. My bed right next to his. So I put my shit in my locker, boom, and I lock it up. And then I go out and I'm like, okay, I'm about to explore. I'm about to explore, see what, you know, what the campus looked like, you know, see what the dorm looked like, see what the people look like, see what the environment looked like that I'm about to be living in. And as I walk out, boom, I'm walking around, and I walk through the lobby and I see some guys watching TV. I walk to the other wing. I think it was B wing. So I walk on B wing, see what they had going on over there. And there was some guys playing spades. They was playing at the table. So I walk up, and as I walk past them, I remember it was a big light-skinned dude. He was like, hey, you new? I'm like, yeah, what's up? He was like, where you from? I'm like, Chicago. He like, damn, it's a lot of you motherfuckers in here. Like, Chicago got this bitch sold up. And I'm thinking, as soon as he said that, I'm thinking in my head, like, okay, bam, that's a benefit, right? Because now you're looking at the benefits, right? When you first go into a Job Corps, a college, a jail, anywhere where there's a lot of people, new environment, and you don't know anybody. You're trying to look for the pros and cons, right? You're trying to figure the place out. So as soon as he said that, that's a lot of y'all here. I'm like, okay, so Chicago must run this joint, which we did. No cap. You know what I'm saying? So, boom. I walk out into the lobby. I walk outside. Now, as I walk outside, I remember them telling us about this place on campus called the Blue Rec. And anybody who went to Earl C know about the Blue Rec. And it's a big blue building. And that's where they got pool tables. They had the big screen TV at the time. Like, that's basically the kick it spot. So I proceed to make my way towards the Blue Rec. So I walk towards the Blue Rec, and as I'm walking towards the Blue Rec, it was this guy standing outside the Blue Rec, and he was on the phone. And the conversation that he was having on the phone, he was yelling at whoever he was on the phone with, cussing them out. going off on the person. So I walk by, I catch that, and I walk inside the Blue Rec. I go in the Blue Rec and I see some of my OT brothers. So I link up with them. We get to playing pool, kicking the shit. And we're going to head back to the dorms. So as we leave out the Blue Rec, we walk outside the Blue Rec. And that guy that I told y'all that was outside on the phone, yelling at whoever he was on the phone with, he's still out there. But he's not on the phone. He's pacing. He's walking back and forth. And he's like, man, I don't give a fuck. Any nigga want it, bring it. I don't give a fuck. I'll beat a nigga ass tonight. Like, what's up? I don't give a damn. What's up? Anybody want it. Whoever want it. So as we walking by, I'm with my homeboy Day Day. Now, Day Day was the first person that I met going to Job Corps. He was the first person I met when I got on the plane at O'Hare. I got on the plane, I strapped in, and the dude was like, hey, bro. And I look over, and it was Day Day. And he was asking me, was I going to Job Corps? And I was like, yeah, you going? He was like, yeah. So me and him got cool on the plane before we even got to Kentucky. You know what I'm saying? So we became cool on the plane before we even got there. So he was automatically the homie. So as we walking, the guy just said that. So my homeboy Day Day, who from Chicago, Day Day, we walking by, and Day Day, the dude was like, whoever want it, whoever want it. So Day Day was like, nigga, shut the fuck up. I'll beat your ass, nigga. Fuck you talking about, I want it. You talking about who want it? I want it. Do something, nigga. I'll beat you the fuck up, nigga.
You see, if you ever run with me gun, them on the boat, yeah? Me go kill your blood clot. Me go murder your blood clot.
So when he said that to the dude, me and the other homies looking like, you know what I'm saying? Because this dude was selling Major Wolf tickets. I mean, he was outside yelling to the top of his lungs, fuming like he was really on that. And Day Day like, nigga, I'll beat your motherfucking ass. So the dude looked at Day Day, then just turned around and walked off. And I'm like, yo, this nigga Day Day crazy. So we head back to the dorms, and it was cold as fuck that night too. It was cold in the motherfucker. And we walked a good little distance to the Blue Rec, from the 9s to the Blue Rec. And yeah, so we get back to the dorms or whatever. And it got late, so we went on ahead and settled in, hopped in the shower, hopped in the bed and shit. So the first night was cool and mellow. Day Day became known on the campus for jacking motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Jacking them for their phones, for their money, jacking their lockers. Day Day became known as the motherfucker on the campus who was a problem. But at the same time, cats didn't really want to bring it to him because they knew he had the whole Chicago behind him. Mm-hmm. So, mind you, my OT brothers and sisters, they from all over. From Chicago, Atlanta, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, New York. So they from all over the place. So, as we in bed, man, we sleep. I get waking up out my sleep by a slam door. Boom! And when we heard the door slam, because he slammed that motherfucker so loud and he was right next door. He slammed that bitch. Boom! So we wake up like, what the fuck was that? So as I wake up, all I hear is a guy say, I am not gay. I am not gay. So I'm like, what the fuck going on? So I go to the door, and it's my OT brother, ATL. He from Atlanta. ATL is walking up and down the wing screaming, I am not gay. I am not gay. So I'm like, what the fuck what is you doing, bro? like, what the fuck triggered the homie? So he said his roommate, while he was asleep, he said his roommate was in his bed, gripping the grain. He said his roommate, who was sleeping right next to him in the bed, right next to him, was gripping the grain. Gripping the grain. gripping the grain.
What?
If you know what type of grip I'm talking about. So he came out and he was yelling. He was mad than a motherfucker. He just kept saying that he not gay. And then his roommate was like, hey, well, what are you talking? What are you doing? What are you talking about? What's going on? So ATL says his roommate, as the roommate walking up on him, like, hey man, just calm down, man. What's going on? ATL like, don't fucking touch me, you dick beater. This man is gripping the grain in the room full of guys. You had to be, you right next to 3 other dudes, and you decide to grip the grain. Now, my first night in Earl C, you know what I'm saying? Didn't too much go on, but I definitely seen that this was not the place that they told me it was. I realized that this is not the same place that was in the brochure that they showed me. They gave everybody a pamphlet. And that pamphlet that they gave us, the building that was in that pamphlet, this is not Earl C. The community, the people that was in that pamphlet looked happy, jolly.
Motherfucker.
You know what I'm saying? Like they were trying to get an education. When I went to Earl C, there wasn't one jolly looking motherfucker on the property. You know what I'm saying? But even when I went to Job Corps, the lady told me that it was the worst one. She said Earl C. Clemens is the worst Job Corps, in the country. Because when I put in to go to Job Corps, it was a waiting list. And I waited for like a month, 2 months. So I called a lady like, man, like what's going on? Like, you mean to tell me out of all the Job Corps in this country, there's not one bed available? And she was like, nah, like we don't have any availability right now. I'm like, lady, that's bullshit. That's impossible. That's impossible because you mean to tell me nobody got kicked out, nobody graduated. And I understand you said that there was a line, but damn, how long is the line? And she was like, well, we only have, open beds at one location. And I didn't want to send you to that one because that's the worst one. And I told her, lady, I don't give a fuck about none of that. Like, let's go. Like, I'm ready to go. So she was like, all right. And she sent me to Earl C. Now, when I get there, before I got there, they gave us this pamphlet and shit that, we reading the pamphlet, it looked like college. But when I get there, I realized that was not it. Like, they fed us some bullshit. Nothing in that pamphlet. The only thing that was in that pamphlet that was on that damn campus was the logo that said Job Corps. The buildings were not there. The people, the happy, jolly people were not there. We went to that motherfucker. That bitch was hood than a motherfucker. But like I say, man, I got to give it to everybody. I got to give it to everybody that graduates Job Corps. If you actually stay down and you get your diploma, you actually stay down and you get your trade, that shit ain't easy. Everybody can't do that. So for the people that's able to stay down and actually finish, without getting kicked out, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got to give it to y'all, man, because we as a community that, are alumni of Job Corps, Earl C, making it through that wasn't easy, man. Because it's a lot that you got to deal with, from the nasty food. And I'm not even trying to talk bad about it, but at the same time, if awareness is brought to it, then that'll be a good thing. Because, you guys should serve better food. The food there was like, damn. You know what I mean? We were getting $25 every 2 weeks to go to Walmart. And that was for hygiene products. But it's like, damn, nigga can't grab a soda, you know what I'm saying? Some noodles. Nah, you gotta, depend on your people on the outside to send you shit. Send you money, just like in jail. You gotta depend on people to send you money if you want noodles, if you want chips, If you want a juice, you got to depend on that. You get what I'm saying? So, but it was cool though, man. You know, I had a good time there. But I remember this one day, man. Soon after my first day, me and the homies, we got up to go to the Jackie Robinson building. Now the Jackie Robinson was it was the movie theater on campus, but it wasn't a movie theater. It was a building where they had a projector, and they would play DVDs, old ass DVDs. So it wasn't like you catching no new movies. Like, nah, they're playing old ass movies on the DVD, and they set chairs up in rows, and they turn lights out. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it was better than nothing. It was better than nothing. You know, I used to go to that motherfucker a lot, you know, because there wasn't really much to do on campus. You know what I mean? And it wasn't much to do, but it's a lot of people. So the little things that it is for you to do, the little things that are available, not really available, because everybody else want to do those things too. Everybody got the same idea. Everybody trying to go to the Blue Rack and play pool. Everybody trying to go to Jackie Robinson, watch a movie. Everybody trying to go to the bowling alley, because we had a little bowling alley, and this shit had like maybe five, 6 lanes. So when I was at Job Corps for 6 months, and I maybe bowled one time, because every time I would go, people would be in there already bowling. So in Job Corps, at least at Earl C, rarely there were head up fades when you're dealing with people from different cities that run in the pack. You would catch your head up fade if you get into it with your roommate. You would catch a head up fade if you get into it with somebody else in your dorm. Y'all will go in the dorm, y'all go in the room, close the door, slide that bed in front of the door, and you get it cracking. That's how we do it at Earl C. That's how we crack it. You got a problem with somebody, y'all go in the room, slide that bed in front of the door, and you fight. But when you're outside on the campus, and you running with a crew, and then y'all get into it, one of your guys get into it with a guy from another crew, and you got the two crews come together, and the two guys have a head-up fight. Most of the time, that head-up fight leads to those two crews fight, because one of those guys gonna get their ass whooped, and whoever get their ass whooped, the other side, ain't gonna want to eat that. A lot of times, when people get in fights in Job Corps and you from two different cities, those two cities end up beefing, depending on how that fight go. You know what I'm saying? Depending on how it ends. If it ends ugly and it becomes a little brawl between the two little squad, because everybody in Chicago, everybody, at Job Corps that's from Chicago or from a city, not all hanging together, right? You have your little different cliques. But whenever two cities get into it and it goes there, they taking it to that level, then yeah, all of the city coming together. And that happened at times, man, because we got into it with different cities. One city in particular that we got into it with the most, shout out, because I got people out there, man. Shout out to all my people in Atlanta, man. So next morning we get up, me and my roommates get up, get ready for work. We head out and we grab breakfast before we go to work. Now we get breakfast at the small cafeteria, because where you'll see they got a big cafeteria and they got a small cafeteria. So we grab breakfast and then we go straight to work. So I get to work, and when I walk into work doing construction, it's called the construction building, and it's a big building. And early in the morning when we get there, everybody just come in and you sit. They had these tables, these big tables, and you sit on the tables and you wait for the instructor. So I come in, boom, I see my homie Florida, my other homeboy Florida. Dude had long dreads. Shout out to him. He ended up staying in Job Corps a little longer. He ended up doing deckhand after he got his certification in construction. He ended up going right into deckhand from Orlando. But I come in, I say what up to Florida, and I sit on the table. When I sit on the table, I see one of my classmates talking to this dude. And the dude that he talking to, it was a dude, he was a light-skinned guy, he had dreads, kind of heavy set, stocky looking guy. And his eye was swole shut. I mean, his shit was black and purple, swole shut. You can tell he had just got into it, and whether he won or lost, it didn't look like he won because his shit was swole up pretty decent. And I heard him talking to my classmate. He was telling my classmate, like, yeah, you know, I got into it with a nigga, you know what I'm saying? We threw down last night, and, you know, the nigga, you know what I'm saying, he won, you know what I'm saying? He got the best of me, but don't worry about it. We're gonna go at it again, and I'm gonna kick his ass next rip. So he's talking all this shit like, yeah, you know, he just some bitch ass nigga that, you know, he just came into the dorms and some new nigga and woo, just talking big shit or whatever. So I'm overhearing the conversation, but you know, you're not thinking nothing of it. You know, you hear people talking or whatever, you overhear that conversation. But the construction door, it was a glass door, and there was windows on the side of it. So you can see whoever walks by. And from where I was sitting at, I was facing towards the door. And they were like in front of me a little ways. So the guy with the dreads with the swollen eye, he was like, yeah, we're going to run that back. You know what I'm saying? We're going to run that back. Me and that bitch ass nigga going to run it back. And this and that and the third. Woo, woo, woo. So I'm hearing them talk the shit. All of a sudden, as I'm looking towards the door, I see Day walk by. So as Day walked by, he was looking towards the door at the same time. So as he's telling the dude about the fight, and the bitch ass nigga, this, that, and the third, and he looked, and as Day walked by, he's like, there go that bitch ass nigga right there. So once he said that, I'm like, this nigga talking about my motherfucking OT brother? So he goes to the door, he was like, yeah, that's that nigga right there. We gonna get it on after work. We gonna get it on. That nigga think he seen the last of me. He ain't seen the last of me. We gonna get it on. So I'm like, damn, they didn't beat this nigga up. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, just the second day, you know what I'm saying, Day was already in there putting it down for the town. Putting it down for Chicago, man. Dude made a name for himself in there, and he made a name, you know, for the city because he wasn't taking no losses, no shorts. That nigga was going hard the entire time. So now me knowing this information, because mind you, I'm in 902, they in 903. So that dude with the dreads, he's in 903. Get what I'm saying? So the fight that they had last night, I didn't know about. So now I'm seeing dudes swole up. So now he's saying they're going to get it on the popping again. So now I'm like, oh shit, now I got to catch this, right? So I'm trying to catch up with Day. You know what I'm saying? At that, this is 2010. You know what I'm saying? 2010, I had a phone. Day didn't have a phone. But he ended up getting a phone, if you catch my drift. You know what I'm saying? But at that time when we first got there, he didn't have one. So I'm trying to catch up with Day, trying to let him know, like, hey, bro, dude. So he want to get out with you again and shit. But I couldn't catch up with him. So the day going by, go to lunch, boom, finish the work day out. So after work, I'm on my way back to the dorms from work. But I said, you know what? I figure I'm going to grab me something to eat real quick before I take it in. So I'm walking towards the dorms, and I stop by the small cafeteria. I go in there, and I grab me some spaghetti real quick. And I sit down, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, they're going to fight again today. And I'm pretty sure it's not going to, you know, wait until later on the night. They probably going to scrap, like, right now. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm eating my food. I'm trying to stuff it down. As I'm sitting there eating my spaghetti, I'm eating. And if you look to the right, they had this big window in the small cafeteria where you can see right to the nines. As I'm eating my food, I look over to the right and you just see a crowd of people running towards the nines. So I'm like, damn, like I'm missing it. So I throw the food down and I get over there to the nines. But by the time I got there, I already knew, because I already knew what was festering. I had a feeling that it was going to be Day and that dude fighting again. But in Job Corps, you never know, right? So I'm getting to the nines. I get to the nines. By the time I get there, the fight is over with. I missed it. I just fucking missed it, man. As I came up, everybody was hyped because, you know, after a fight, people be hyped and they excited and they talking about it and shit. So as I'm coming up, motherfuckers like, yo, Day just whooped that nigga. Day beat that nigga ass. Chi-Town whooped that nigga. So I'm like, damn, I miss. I'm like, what happened? He was like, shit, the nigga with the dreads, he walked up. Day was standing right here and Day was smoking a cigarette. And he said the nigga walked up on Day like, yeah, nigga, you know what it is. Like, let's run that back. He said, so Day put the cigarette out, fired on his ass. Bing! Hit him again. Bing! And when he hit him so hard, the dude stumbled back. He put his dukes up. Day hit him. Bow! Drove him back. Hit him again. Bow! Dude run in, throw some wild shit. Day duck under them hoes. Bow! Drops the nigga. Get on top of the nigga, get the scrubbing him out. And that was it. So by the time I got there, the dude with the dress was limping the fuck off. He was already, you know, like a little ways. Day had already cleared the scene. So I'm like, damn, man, I done missed the fight. So now I'm like, I gotta go holler at this nigga. So I go over to Day room. I get to Day room. That nigga room filled with OT brothers, filled with Chicago niggas. Everybody in that bitch just kicking it, talking about the fight. I'm like, man, what the fuck? So, and mind you, that's the second day, right? So, you know, Day get down in that bitch. It wasn't no, you know, worried about getting kicked out or getting in trouble. None of that. Day didn't give a fuck about none of that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Day, man. You know what I'm saying? That was the homie. You know, he from the city. You know what I'm saying? Back when I used to run the streets, you know, me and him got to chopping it up, and come to find out me and him ran the same streets and was, you know, running, you know, with the same crew type shit. So shout out to the homie, man. And I just want to let y'all know, I want to let y'all know what that was like for me, man. You know, coming into Job Corps, coming into Earl C. For a lot of y'all that's going to Job Corps, man, y'all going to get this. Some of y'all got the right expectations. You thinking that you about to go there and get your diploma, get your trade and shit and buckle down and focus. And you can do that. You can do that. Even at Earl C, you can do that. You know, you can stay out the way.
Okay.
Now, is it going to be easy to stay out the way? I'm not going to tell you that. I'm not going to tell you that. But for others, you know, when you go to Job Corps, man, leave that street shit at home. Leave that street shit, that gangster shit, that gang banging, all that. Leave that back on the block. Don't bring that with you to Job Corps. It defeats the purpose. Because I'm going to tell you, I graduated from Job Corps, and I ain't going to lie to you. That was one of the best decisions I made for my life as far as being successful in life. As far as growing up and you know, being able to provide. You know what I'm saying? Because you got two choices, man. If you live in that life, it's only two ways that can go. And we know what that is, death or prison. You live in that gangster life, that gang banging life, the illegal life. If you go on a Job Corps, man, you're going to better yourself. You're not going there to become a worse person. You're not going there to stay the same person who you already are. You're going there to become a better person, be better, get smarter, learn more, so you can have more opportunities in your future. Get your diploma, get your certification, so when you get out and you come home, you can get that trade and start making some guap. Simple as that. All right, man, I'm going to get up out of here, man, but I appreciate y'all for checking me out, coming back, tuning in to me one more time, my Silverback Gorilla Gang family. You know, it's all love, baby. Thank y'all for y'all support. You know what I'm saying? Thank y'all for rocking with me. If you're new to the channel, go ahead, hit that subscribe. It don't cost you nothing. It costs you nothing to hit the subscribe. It costs you nothing to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend. Hit that subscribe, hit that like, go ahead, drop a comment. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can leave comments, man. I'll respond to your comments. And yeah, man, we're going to keep it moving, keep it grooving, keep it sliding. Till next time. Silverback Gorilla Gang.
Moon south, feel the breeze chop down. Ride around, you and me pop out. Living life, we gon' put some shots down. Living life, baby, go all out. All out, all out. All out, all out. Fuck it later, worry about right now. Live your life, baby, go your life, baby, go on.